Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. When we were growing up, they were huge. Everyone was talking about the Turtles.
There were the comic books, the cartoon, the action figures, and tons of other Turtles merchandise.
My grandma was constantly being commissioned to make turtle-shaped birthday cakes for my cousins in the color of each birthday boy's favorite turtle.
My favorite turtle? Easy, Leonardo. He's the group's fearless leader. He's badass and he fights with two long swords.
Donatello's my favorite because he's smart, he wears purple, and he beats people with a stick. Just like me.
As a tribute to those heroes in a half shell, today we're going to talk about 5 classic Turtles games for the NES, Super Nintendo, and Sega Genesis.
Beginning with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES. This game was hugely popular when it was released in 1989. It was even the only third-party game to be packaged with an NES console.
It was the first Turtles game released for a home console, and kids forced their parents to buy it in droves.
But those kids were sorely disappointed when they came home, put their totally radical new Turtles game into their NES console, took it out, blew on it, then put it back in, reset it a few times, took it out and blew on it again, and found one of the most infamously bad NES games ever.
The game is just confusing. It's difficult, the controls are so bad it's almost impossible to beat.
We're not going to dwell too long on this game because it's already been slammed to death on YouTube, but we will say that there is one cool thing about it. The music is awesome.
Ultra redeemed themselves in 1990 with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. It was based on the 1989 arcade hit, but added some NES exclusive bonus levels, with excessively repetitive enemies like robotic snowmen and these tamp tigers.
It's a classic side-scrolling beat-em-up featuring all of our favorite turtles and bad guys.
It's a hell of a lot of fun, but far from easy, which is why we always cheat and use a code.
While you're attacking enemies, they always get a hit in on you, no matter how many times you swing your weapon.
The best way to avoid damage is to just keep jump kicking all the time, but that can get boring, and even then you still get hit.
The code gets you 9 lives and level select. So if 9 lives aren't enough, you can restart where you left off, which is helpful because there are no continues.
We usually end up doing that because if one player runs out of lives, they can Brody them from the other player, and Jen always steals all my lives.
Hey, we're married. It means I get 50% of everything.
And pizzas only appear one at a time, even in a 2-player game.
I usually steal those too.
The game has super catchy music, and graphics so colorful and detailed that the NES can't really handle them.
The sprites blink off and on a lot. Quite often parts of your turtle will disappear like you're in Back to the Future.
The controls are pretty standard. You hit B to attack and A to jump, a combination of the two for a special attack, and of course the standard jump kick.
And if you tap the D-pad, you can make the turtles dance.
Don and Leo are the best characters to play as because they have long-range weapons, even though Leo only carries one of his 2 katanas.
You fight through the streets of Manhattan, the sewers, and the Technodrome, and each location has something in common.
Pizza Hut logos, 8 to be exact. This is one of the first video games ever to have product placement. It even came with a coupon for a free Pizza Hut personal pan pizza.
Suddenly I really want some pizza.
You fight familiar bosses from the cartoon like life partners Bebop and Rocksteady, Baxter Stockman as both a regular guy in a ship and some sort of Jeff Goldblum-like flyman.
And of course, Krang.
Hey Jen, do your Krang impersonation.
Oh, fine. Prepare to die!
Oh, do the other one.
I'm invincible! SMH. Anyway, you can use inanimate objects to attack the enemies like cones, signs, and these canisters that explode.
It's hard to hit them at just the right moment to blow up all the enemies on the screen.
But be careful, because as in most Konami games, inanimate objects can also hurt you.
Like these lasers that X-ray you.
Wait, I thought turtles had exoskeletons.
And this damn blue car that runs you over.
Every time I see a blue car, I'm afraid it's gonna hit me.
You mostly fight the Foot Clan, but there are also Mousers and weird robots.
You can even attack a civilian on a skateboard.
In this bonus level, Shredder has apparently found a way to manipulate the weather and make it snow. And to stop him, you fight this guy that looks like Teen Wolf.
Spring is here!
When you rescue April, she follows you into the turtle van and kisses the turtle with the most points.
Then the van drives off a bridge. How did that happen?
Mike must have been driving.
Then the Foot kidnaps Splinter. How did they manage to carry him off so easily? I thought he was some kind of martial arts expert. Didn't he mimic his master's movements from his cage?
Many years ago, I lived in Japan, a pet of my master Yoshi, mimicking his movements from my cage and learning the mysterious art of ninjutsu.
There it is! We gotta find the Technodrome? But we just said, there it is.
In the final level, you fight Shredder, who can kill you with one hit by zapping you and turning you into a baby turtle.
He also splits into two Shredders. Make sure you attack the one who doesn't lose his helmet.
Freaked the Foots, mangled the Mousers, and totaled the Technodrome. That's turtle power.
But what about the Shredder and Krang? Burned to toast? Vaporized to milkshake?
Wait, vaporized to milkshake? You can't vaporize something to a liquid. You'd have to liquefy it to milkshake.
Or escape to Dimension X? Until we know, none of us can sleep safely in our beds, shells.
Aside from the bonus levels, the NES version doesn't differ much from the original arcade game, but it is much longer. One game can take over an hour.
It also doesn't have any of the hilarious voiceovers, or this kick-ass song at the beginning.
In the arcade game, Shredder can split into 3 instead of 2.
And Dimension is spelled wrong at the end. D-Mention?
And what's that in April's office? A bong? Ultra must have realized this, so they changed it slightly for the NES version.
The graphics and sound in the arcade version are obviously much better, but it's just as difficult.
Fortunately, as long as you keep putting quarters in, you have unlimited continues.
Of course, not many arcades today still have a Turtles cabinet, like this one we played on our honeymoon.
But don't worry, you can play it on your Xbox 360 in the Xbox Live Arcade.
Or you can play the worst game ever, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Battle Nexus on the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube, and use all your powers and all your skills to unlock the arcade game.
In 1992, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, The Manhattan Project, was released by Konami? What happened to Ultra?
Well, Ultra was actually Konami masquerading as another company to get around Nintendo's limit on the number of games they could release per year.
That explains why that pause sound is so familiar.
Like 2, 3 is difficult and has no continues.
So once again, we'll use a code. This time the code gives you up to 7 lives, level select, and an option to change the difficulty. On easy, the game is almost beatable.
And once again, Jen can steal all my lives.
You can choose between two two-player modes. A, which allows for damage between players, and B, which doesn't. Why you would want to choose A, I have no idea.
We find the turtles relaxing on a beach in Florida, watching the news from New York.
You can tell because April says, "Here in New York."
Suddenly, Shredder appears and somehow steals Manhattan.
Bummer, dudes.
So the turtles have to interrupt their vacation to go and save New York once again. They can never get a break.
The moves are basically the same, but now your special attack uses some of your energy. Fail.
And there's one important new move, Down and B. It flips the enemies over your head and kills them in one hit.
God bless this move.
You'll recognize all of your favorite Turtles bad guys except for Baxter Stockman.
But now you'll meet some new friends like Leatherhead, Taka and Razor, Ground Chuck, and this rat-like guy named Dirtbag.
The foot now come in a variety of colors, aside from the classic fuchsia, like seafoam green, salmon, and brick red.
And while the Foot have always known how to make an entrance, in 3 they get really creative. They pop out of the sand, break through planks on the boardwalk, fly out of manholes, transform from statues, and are actually assembled right in front of you.
Unlike in 2, in 3, when there's pizza to be eaten, there's enough for both players.
The graphics look great, but while 2 had flicker, 3 has slowdown and lots of it.
There's still no voiceovers, but the turtles can occasionally be heard exclaiming their catchphrase, "Cowabunga!"
Cowabunga!
Fun fact, the word cowabunga was first used on the 1950s children's show Howdy Doody, when a character named Chief Thunderhead would say it to greet the audience. It was later adopted by surfers in the 60s before being popularized by the Turtles.
Fascinating.
Thanks, Urban Dictionary.
In addition to the usual locales, the sewer, the streets, and the Technodrome, you also fight on the beach in Florida, and even an obligatory elevator level.
Let's find April, then we'll get that Bogart Shredder. I don't think they're using Bogart correctly.
Shredder's a little easier now because he can no longer split into 2, or kill you with one hit. He does come back as Super Shredder, but he's just as easy to beat.
The Turtles save the day, and Manhattan is returned.
Then you get to listen to this hot music. Thank you for your playing.
I wonder if they ever got to finish their vacation.